All right, so I tweeted this out. We got some slides on this, but I think that over the 2020s, by the mid-end of the 2020s, it will be clear that Bitcoin is the flag of technology. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Essentially, it encodes our implicit values and we'll find who we are. So what do I mean by the flag? So you guys have all seen this, like Bitcoin on the moon. But when we talk about a flag, it doesn't have to be a flag of a geographical entity. It can be, for example, the flag of, the Gadsden flag, the rainbow flag. So it can be the flag of a movement. And when we talk about technology, we mean the culture that Silicon Valley built and exported. So founders at work, the hard thing about hard things, 0 to 1. This is this culture that's this transnational culture that we've exported. And the Bitcoin flag, I think, becomes a flag of this movement. Now, a flag is something to align behind. This is already happening. All of the billionaires of Silicon Valley, almost all of them hold Bitcoin either directly or through their funds, and have done so for a while. And this is not just within Silicon Valley, of course. Folks at WeChat hold Bitcoin. Folks at Yandex hold Bitcoin. So these folks who are otherwise tough competitors, they all hold BTC. And the best kind of precedent for this is something like Linux, where with Linux, Facebook and Google, tough competitors, they nevertheless cooperate on Linux because it's a demilitarized zone where one party cannot deprive the other of their contributions. And in this fashion, Bitcoin is something like this, where all can profit from it, none can corrupt it. And so what are the values of technology that I think Bitcoin encodes? So first is it's internationalist. So everybody, we've got I don't know how many dozen countries just in this room alone. Tech is a global phenomenon. So is Bitcoin. So is crypto. Number two, capitalist. So venture capital is what tech is, and Bitcoin itself, and crypto is about transactions. It's about a ledger. It's about money. Third, decentralized. So obvious, but I love this tweet at the top. The great thing about tech monopolies is how many there are to choose from. And anytime you do a market map of any sector, whether it's fintech or something like that, you have just an array of logos. We have this within Bitcoin itself, where there's some degree of separation of powers, and also within the crypto ecosystem, where even if Bitcoin does have hiccups, we have proof of stake, we have other models that may also work. Bitcoin and tech are both hyperdeflationary. So at the top, for example, you had all the items that you would have had without an iPhone, and then with that technology, with that iPhone, you have to pay less. You don't have to buy all those things. Same with Bitcoin. If you hold it, you pay less for other things. So in the long term, it's appreciating. Networked, it's almost too obvious to point out, but essentially this means not geographical distance, but geodesic distance. Not distance on the surface of the Earth, but distance within a social network is really the key distance for within these network communities. Bitcoin and tech are encrypted. So all the crypto wars that tech fought in the late 1990s, those have now actually borne fruit because the space is called crypto, and you're talking about private keys and public keys and more constructions besides. Bitcoin and tech are digital. So at the top is a little graphic that shows that from your iPad or your phone, you're streaming music, you are ordering food, you are booking a hotel, getting a plane flight, editing a document. All of those things got digitized. Now we're obviously digitizing money and finance. Bitcoin and tech are volatile. So I love this quote, there's only two emotions in startups, which are euphoria and terror, and lack of sleep enhances both. Sounds a lot like crypto trading, okay. And so no risk, no reward, basically more upside, more downside. Bitcoin and tech are ambitious. You read founders at work, you talk to any founder, they're basically hallucinating about a future in which everything works and they're a billionaire. And that's actually the same future that Hal Finney talked about, where in one post after Bitcoin was founded, he's like, what if Bitcoin gets to $10 million of Bitcoin? Ultra bull. Finally, Bitcoin and tech are quietly revolutionary. So it's not the kind of revolution where you stand on the street corner and you hold up a sign, we've got the power. Instead, it's a bunch of micro decisions being made by millions of people quietly in their own homes. And that's led to, for example, over time, the collapse of the movie industry, the collapse of taxi medallions, the collapse of print media, and the rise of Google and Facebook. In the same way, the rise of Bitcoin against the US dollar has been this dramatic but quiet thing that's been happening mostly in people's rooms. And the result has been that the head of the IMF, the head of the People's Bank of China, the President of the United States of America, everybody's reacting to this now. And that's this amazing, amazing victory that we've had. So just in terms of the future, what do I think is the future? As Avichal said, I think of Bitcoin and crypto more generally as restoring many traditional American rights. The right to assembly, freedom of speech, protection against unreasonable search and seizure, the right to privacy. And though these are American values, they are internationally appealing. Crypto is an international phenomenon. And I think that this is going to be basically part of the axis of the 2020s. As a number of governments print a bunch of money, it's not a traditional right-left axis, but it's going to be Hamilton versus Satoshi in many different countries. So thank you very much.